Look at any survey these days and you'll find out that folks want to know about the environment and where their food comes from. For farmers and ranchers, that's meant more of an emphasis on the land that sustains their crops. And for one farm family in Wyoming, that attention has brought national recognition. Elisa, Tom, and Anna Fieldgrove are helping out their dad, dropping off salt licks for the cattle on their Wyoming ranch. But cows aren't the only animals in evidence here. If you listen closely, you'll hear the bleating of goats scattered across this Wyoming rangeland.
And there they go, off to their weeds.
Ryan Fieldgrove didn't start out to raise a herd of goats with his cattle, but that changed when he looked around to find an environmentally friendly solution to battle an invasive and out-of-control weed problem. The weeds were impacting the grassland feed for his cattle.
We had a very bad leafy spurge weed infestation problem several years ago, and growing up, that's all I did was spray weeds. Because we're a dryland operation, we don't do any farming, and we buy all of our own hay. So that leaves us to take care of the cows, fix fence, and spray weeds.
In his research, Ryan discovered that goats can be very effective at eating weed canopies. The goats, along with flea beetles to destroy the roots of the weeds, provide a natural herbicide solution. That allowed more grass to grow and gave Ryan time to grow his cattle business.
We had assistance from our local weed and pest to pay for herding and at certain times trucking and water, because we did 7 years of about 700 to 1,000 head at one time to really reduce the weeds. It's just been in the last 3 years that we now are able to scale back and run the 100 head year round to keep the weed in check. This ranch no longer has what I would call a problem. We do have weeds, but it's definitely controllable. Whereas before, there was easily 20 to 30% of this ranch was overtaken by the weed. Half of these are pregnant and are gonna kid in September.
Establishing the goat herd demanded an initial expense for the ranch. As the herd grew, however, Ryan was able to sell off surplus animals and use that income to pay for the feed and labor costs associated with the goats.
The goats break even, basically. That's our goal, is we don't really care if they make money. We just want them to pay for themselves, and they do. They do well.
So with nature helping out the Fieldgrove family, they decided to return the favor. The area surrounding their 10,000-acre ranch is home to a variety of wildlife. Ryan installed barbless wire on the bottom rung of his fences, allowing animals to crawl underneath without being injured.
This is potentially feathers from a sage grouse from flying into it.
The Fieldgroves also participate in a conservation program designed to protect a bird known as the sage grouse. One task involves installing reflectors along the fence line.
We mark our fences that are in areas where sage grouse like to stay, so that when they're landing or taking off, they can see the fence and they don't fly into it. We're trying to reduce mortality. And then also our rotational grazing is designed and planned so that we are out of those areas that are called lek areas, where their breeding grounds, their nesting, and their early brood rearing occurs. You see where the fence starts to go down.
The family's environmental efforts have not gone unnoticed. They received national recognition for their work, winning a prestigious Leopold Conservation Award. That achievement has reinforced the family's belief that improving the environment is an essential element in improving their ranch's productivity.
We really enjoy being here. I think the emphasis is that it is very family-oriented, and it has taught our children good morals and a good way to start their life. I hope that someday maybe one of them will at least want to continue their lifestyle out here.
At least one younger member has decided already.
I called dibs on our house. So when I grow up, I really want to live here because I like just living on a ranch.
As for their conservation efforts, Ryan says it's all about finding the balance between the environment and enterprise.
You can have environmentally good practices that also are profitable for the ranching operation. And I think that that's what I feel good about, is we've found a balance.